Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. So today we are going to talk about service communication. How we can communicate one service to one another service. We have service 1, we have service 2. Service 1 needs to call to the service 2. How we can do that? Historically, we know about the REST template since the time we have Spring Boot. When it talks, it's a scenario about the synchronous and blocking calls. This is the one that is the go-to place. When it is about reactive stuff, reactive non-blocking, then which one we choose? We choose web client. There is one more, that is the fiend client, that is more declarative style of the communication. That's also in picture. These are the three things in there. Now the web client also can be used in the blocking and non-reactive way by applying the methods that's there, right? When it comes to calling one service to another service, there are very basic stuff. You give the input and you get the response from there. You configure timeout and everything, you get the response exception, and that needs to be handled properly. REST template has been there from quite long time, no changes in the functionality because that's there is nothing to change in here. Something new has been in the picture now, that is the REST client. That's what the topic of this video that we are going to talk. Why this is coming into picture? It is there to replace the REST client. It is there, REST client is there to replace the REST template. So REST template is going to be deprecated in the future. This is deprecated already, and this is going to be removed in the future versions. So the naming and all, you see the web client, you see the REST client. It is more fluent. It is fiend client. It is the REST template. It already feels like it's out of the picture. So REST client, web client, fiend client, that's what and this is more declarative style. This is more flexible. Functionality wise, as I said, there is no difference at all, but it's the new more fluent, more flexible, more simple to use, more readable way. So if you have to see the more differences around it, this is the story that I wrote while ago that is still holds relevant. REST client, how do we create it? This is the method, one of the way. If you have to call a get method, REST client dot get URI retrieve body, and that's the thing. REST template, this used to be the way out. Web client, this is the way. Fiend client, this is the way. In a summary, this is the difference we have to see. The features, synchronous, asynchronous, programming model, use cases, and ease of use. Under each of that one, you can just take a snap, or I will put this link in the description also. You can go ahead and check out. Another way you can search is the RESTClient.medium. You will find the stories written by me only. Couple of four, I see the top 4 stories coming in here. So you can go deep into this one. So this video I want to show you the demo around this one, right? So go to the spring.io, start.io, and create a simple service. Nothing, no database, no third party, no anything. Just add the Spring web and create 2 services, one the client service and another one is the server service. So I already have created this one. Okay, so just let me show you this. So this is the one third party service. Third party service is the one where we have all the methods to create basically get post mapping. So let me show you. Third party, this is the request mapping that it has given. That's what it will give the URL logger to log that list. In memory storage I want to create. So post mapping is in here, that is the create, and it is taking a test record in here. It is logging that information. It is simulating the failure. Some of the time I want to see the failure, so it is simulating that one. After that, it is just creating the object and storing that in the list and responding with the success status created. That's all. Then we have get mapping. It is fetching all the record in the system, and it is fetching the record by ID, and it is doing the update basically. So path variable and the request body, the ID that I want to update and what information I want to update. that the information, basic simple business logic in here. The delete mapping, it is going to delete that record with the proper status there. Okay, so this is the server, and let me just start this and show you working. So this is running on port 8081. So let me take you to the Postman. I'll share you with this collection also, so that it is easy to experiment. So this is the one that I created. So this third party post and this record got created, right? So I want to fetch all records. I got all the records. I want a single record from in here. So go in here and yeah, I got this one, right? So I want to update the same record in here. So just put the ID in here, Arvind Kumar update, request payload updated. So this will be updated in here. So if you go back to this and try to fetch, oh, this is the simulation of the error basically that we see. This got updated, right? Now I want to delete this record. Hit this one and this will be deleted, and I should see no record now for this one. 404 not found. So server side, the things are working fine. Now it's the REST client coming into picture. Let's have the second service. So this is the client service that's there. Couple of classes, the similar to the third party service I already have created. So first let me show you how the REST client is getting created. So open the client configuration in here. So very first thing is the REST client builder. Very straightforward, REST client.builder, and this is the one. I have separated it out because many times custom configuration is needed. So this is in here. To create the REST client, this is the line. This is the bean REST client.builder, and this builder base URL and this one, and this is the base URL, that is the service where my service is running basically. Now let's see how we can use this REST client. So for that, I have created a controller. In this controller, I have injected that as a dependency. So take a look on this one, REST client, and we have this constructor and injected this one. This logger is there to put the logging only. So very first thing that let's say I want to fetch the records. So the get mapping, REST endpoint in here, the response entity, I want this one, and then I want all the records. So this is the one, REST client dot get. Very straightforward. Then very next line that we have this retrieve, and this is where this thing is coming very nicely in here, onStatus. That is, if I want to handle any of the exception that is coming. So previously with the REST template, we had to put the try, catch and all. We can put it in here also, but there is a fluent way in here. Put the onStatus and just capture the exception in here. So if that is the 4xx, it is a 5xx. Accordingly, we can handle whatever we want to, log the error and respond with the exception that's there. And then this is the line. So if I just remove this line, so this is even more readable in here, right? So you see the REST client dot get, then retrieve the response and then parse it to the result that we want in here. So basically the test record I want. So this is the new parameterized type reference in here. So you can mention this one, but sometimes we want the custom one. So this is automatically referring to this one. So that's the thing that is needed in here, right? And this is the response and this is the one. So basically it is getting the list of the records, right? So this is going to get that one. All right. So just now this is the exception part in here, and that's it. Similar to this one, if I want the record by ID in here, that is also records REST client dot get URI, because the path variable I have to pass in here, base URL is set in here. Whatever I have to append after this one, that is going to this one. In the all records, nothing was needed. Basically this base URL and this HTTP method, that was going to work. But record by ID, I have to pass the path URL, a path variable basically. So this is the way. Retrieving as previous one, the exception handling as per the previous one, and this body test record. So this one parameterized type reference, this is also working fine, but we can mention whatever response that I want to get in here, and that will be passed accordingly. And this is the logging that is information. So now we have done the get mapping. Now coming to the post one, that is also very straightforward. REST client dot post, I have to pass the body now. So this is the request that is coming, request body in here. It is giving that, it is retrieving the response, and then exception part it is trying to get that exception handling, then it is converting. If everything goes fine, no exception at all, this will be skipped, and this body will be executed in here, and we will get the response whatever is we are getting from the server, and logging that one and created. Similar to this one, we have put mapping. You see the REST client dot put the URI, because we have path variable. This is how the third party update URL is looking like, right? So you see the third party, and then we have to pass the path variable. So that is where we are passing the ID in here and the request ID in here. The body, the details that I want to update, this is going in here, and then again retrieving the response, checking the exception handling, exception if there is any, if there is none, this will be passed, that response will be returned in here, and yeah, this is going to be written, right? Delete, very similar, RestClient.delete path URI, retrieve onStatus exception, if it is there it will be there, otherwise to body, because when it is deleting there is nothing to be returned, right? So it is just giving the to bodiless entity, that means no result will be written, just the status that no content basically, and that's how we will be knowing that the record is deleted. With this is good to go, and let me just server port, I have given this one, there is nothing else in here now just hit the run. We already interacted with third party service, right? So we were able to see few records there. So whatever we hit from this client service in here, we should be able to see that also. What is that? Why you are not running? Okay, port 8082 already in use. Okay, one of the other service I think running. So okay, so let me just stop this and start this. So the multiple services, so let me just remove them. Okay, so client service third party. Okay, now this is also running in here, and let me take you to the postman in here, and now we had this one client. So you see the port 8082 client and records, this is what the path is. If I come to the client controller, initial path that we have client, and then we have just we want to create the records, right? So records, this is the path, and then rest of that is the raw JSON body in here. So client request payload, new one, this is the one that new we are creating. This record got created, right? Now get all record from the client side. What is the path? That we have client and we have records, the method is get mapping. Client records 8082 port and this one. So this is the 500 internal server. Let's see. Okay, third party 503 service unavailable. So this is one of the simulation. So basically if you click on this one, this is what the on status getting executed, right? On status getting executed in here, and we are able to see all of the logging also. Client service controller and third party error 503, and whatever your third party error gave, we are able to see in here as part of the logging. Simulated service unavailable. So this is one of that scenario. This is again coming in here, hit this again, and we are getting the result now. So only client get all records, so only one record is there, so that is how we are able to see that one. If you want to create one more record, so let's say just name, this also got created, right? So hit this again. Here also we are able to see the simulation error, right? So if I now and see the records, the two records that got created, I'm able to see in here. Now it's time to update the record, or we want to fetch the record by ID basically. So this is the one that I'm fetching in here, coming in here, and This is the record that I got, right? So I want to update this same record. So here I'm not passing, so there is one difference. So I'm not passing in here, I'm passing it as part of the request body in here. I should see this one, right? Client Arvind Kumar Amore 123 in here. This got updated. Go and check this again. You will see the difference in here. Okay, this got updated. So record update is happening fine. Final one, the delete one. The request URL records, and this is the path that I have to change to the one that is available. No content. That means it got deleted in here. Try to fetch the record in here. We'll get the 500 internal server. This is a simulation. Okay, get record by ID. This is basically the 404 only. You see the third party error, that is 44 not found. But here we are seeing the internal server error because that's how the handling is in here. We are sending it to the runtime exception. Basically, that is how we are seeing the exception. So this is now the exception handling that can be taken separately. So now we have simulated get, put, post, delete, all of that in this video. I hope you found this useful, and if you want more deep dive and you want to read it, copy paste the things, you can go ahead and search for these one, and you will get architecture, Spring Boot, code examples, and this everything in here. I'll put these stories in the Medium, these stories in the description also. You can directly go ahead and check that out. Okay, so there is one more part that I want to cover, the advanced section of this one, the timeout section. You see this one, I tried to draw this one, timeout, connect, read, timeout, and this, and there is a tracing section also. If I want to trace the request from here to here, how easily that can be done. MDC comes into picture, so this is very important, that's there. So do check that out. So after this one, that video is going to come very immediately in 1 or a day too. So I hope you found this useful. If this is the case, do hit like, share this video, and subscribe it, and press the notification button also, so that you can get the notification next time I upload any video. See you in the next one. Bye bye.